The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Law 36. Disdain things you cannot have. Ignoring them is the best revenge. Judgment. By acknowledging a petty problem, you give it existence and credibility. The more attention you pay an enemy, the stronger you make him. And a small mistake is often made worse and more visible when you try to fix it. It is sometimes best to leave things alone. If there is something you want but cannot have, show contempt for it. The less interest you reveal, the more superior you seem.
In the year of 1527, King Henry VIII of England decided that he had to find a way to get rid of his wife, Catherine of Aragon. Catherine had failed to produce a son, a male heir who would ensure the continuance of his dynasty. And Henry thought that he knew why. So he had read in the Bible the passage which quoted is, "And if a man shall take his brother's wife, it is an unclean thing. He had uncovered his brother's nakedness, they shall be childless." Before marrying Henry, Catherine had married his older brother Arthur. But Arthur had died 5 months later, and then Henry had waited an appropriate time, then had married his brother's widow. Catherine was the daughter of King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella of Spain, and by marrying her, Henry had kept alive a valuable alliance. So now, however, Catherine had to assure him that her brief marriage with Arthur had never been consummated. Otherwise, Henry would view their relationship as incestuous and their marriage as null and void. So Catherine insisted that she had remained a virgin through her marriage to Arthur. And Pope Clement VII supported her by giving his blessing to the union, which he could not have done had he considered it incestuous. The king convinced that she was lying and God punished them for their forbidden relationship. So Henry applied to the Vatican, but Pope Clement would never annul the marriage. And so Henry simply started his own church and he put himself at the top and annulled his marriage in that simple way. So the Pope was furious and kept threatening the king with excommunication from the Catholic Church. But King Henry simply ignored him and he's now banished from the court ex-wife. So when you pay attention to a person, the two of you become partner of sorts, each moving in step to the actions and reactions of the other. In the process, you lose your initiative. It is a dynamic of all interactions. By acknowledging other people, even if only to fight with them, you open yourself to their influence. So had Henry locked horns with Catherine, he would have found himself mired in endless arguments that would have weakened his resolve and eventually worn him down. Henry would have none of this, so he played a devastating power game, total disdain. By ignoring people, you cancel them out. So this unsettles and infuriates them, but since they have no dealings with you, there is nothing they can do. There is a saying by Idris Shah from Caravan of Dreams of 1968, "Man, kick him, he'll forgive you. Flatter him, he may or may not see through you, but ignore him, he'll hate you." There are essentially two strategies to execute. The first one is the sour grapes approach. If there is something you want but that you realize you cannot have, the worst thing you can do is draw attention to your disappointment by complaining about it. An infinitely more powerful tactic is to act as if it never really interested you in the first place. So the second one is the treating it lightly approach. When you are attacked by an inferior, deflects people's attention by making it clear that the attack has not ever registered. Look away or answer sweetly, showing how little the attack concerns you. Similarly, when you make a mistake, the best answer is frequently to minimize it by treating it lightly. However, as always, develop the talent of detecting issues when they are tiny and dealing with them before they become intractable. So learn to tell the difference between the potentially disastrous, and the moderately unpleasant annoyance that will go away on its own. In any event, never take your gaze away from it. So it can smolder and ignite into life as long as it is alive.